Hello, everyone. This is Katrina Chen, MLA for Burnaby South, BC's Minister of State for Childcare. But I'm really here today, gathering with many amazing people. I know you're all slowly joining this conversation and the Burnaby South NDP nomination meeting tonight. But I'm really here today as a proud new Democrat. For 15 years, I joined the party when I was 23. Well, now you know how old I am. I'm still a millennial, an older millennial who's still learning and improving and doing my best every day, along with many brothers, sisters, and friends who are joining this conversation today. So just want to really begin by thanking you all for being here and also recognizing that we're gathering here across the province, maybe across Canada, but I'm here speaking from my home in Burnaby on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish people. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our NDP candidate for Central Okanagan, Snoqualmie, Nicola, Joan Phillip, along with Grand Chief Store Phillip for a traditional welcome and opening today. Thank you.
No. Why? Isquist Aimshin, that's my traditional name. I just want to, on behalf of my Coast Salish relatives, like to welcome you all for participating in this historic event. And I'm just so honored to be here and talk about Jagmeet. And I'd like to say that I can say personally that he is an amazing person. He's a man of great integrity, but more importantly, he's honest and genuinely cares about the environment and all the people of this great country of ours, particularly in the face of this pandemic and the opioid crisis and the firestorms. Canada is crying out for honest, caring, and competent leadership. And Jagmeet's the only choice. We are sick and tired of Trudeau's lies. And as for the Conservatives, well, Aaron, who? So Jagmeet is the only federal leader who has the moral authority to lead this country. And on behalf of my 15 grandchildren and one great grandchild, I pray that Canadians support and vote for Jagmeet. And I just want to close by saying we're so happy and congratulate Jagmeet and his wife on their first baby. And if you think kids are fun, wait for the grandkids. Lim Lim.
Thank you so much, Joan. It's just such an honor to have you here opening this event and also learning about your wisdom. We always learn so much from you every time we interact, and also so honored to have you running as one of the strong team of the BC NDP candidates. And I'm just so excited that today we're here celebrating a nomination meeting, celebrating Jagmeet, celebrating the NDP, and also celebrating all of you that we're going to go through this campaign strong together and making sure that we build a country that everyone gets supported and no one gets left behind. So I believe there are many reasons that brought all of us here today, and I cannot see all of you who are joining this meeting on my screen. It's so weird with the Zoom meetings, but we're all getting used to it. But I know there's so many other local elected officials and our friends and colleagues, including I know Jenna Rowledge is probably on the call, Ross Shohan and Ken, my provincial colleagues, and I know we're going to have a few speakers. I know MP Peter Julian is going to say a few words later on. But we're really here for multiple reasons, but the main reason is to be here and support our leader, Jagmeet, and the NDP. I don't think anyone is here to run for the nomination today, right? No. Okay, other than Jagmeet, of course. Okay. I'm definitely not here to run for the nomination. This is a non-contested one because we all love Jagmeet so much and we all believe in fighting for social justice and our shared values to make sure that we are working together to make sure no one is left behind, to build more affordable housing for communities across the country, to make sure life can get better for families. And we do not only learn from people like Joan, their wisdoms and their experience, but we also need to learn from every member in our community, including many of the young voices that we have. They have fresh ideas, young energy, and that is why I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Owen, who is a youth from Burnaby South, who I've seen him involved with so many events across communities right here in Burnaby, and just really happy to see you here, Butter. Let's welcome Owen.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Thank you so much. Merci. This is an incredibly important moment in history. We're standing at a crossroads. Canadians are watching and deciding who they want to lead this country forward. They're looking for a leader who will guide us through this pandemic, take action to fight the climate crisis, protect Indigenous communities, and create real change. I'm here today to say that Jagmeet Singh is that leader. The first time I met him, I was blown away by his kindness and warmth. He walked into the room with a smile on his face, and immediately everyone lit up. He treats people with respect. He cares. I remember door knocking with Jagmeet a few weeks ago. As we walked down the streets, people ran towards him, excited, happy. A young woman came up to us and asked Jagmeet about the campaign. They dove deep into conversation, laughing and having a good time. At first, I thought she was a longtime friend. Then Jagmeet handed her a flyer and I realized they just met. This ability to create real connections, true connections, is so special. He understands our needs and he gives people hope. As Katrina said, I'm a young person and I'm worried about my future. Time is running out to make sweeping systemic reforms to our social, economic, and political systems. Jagmeet is one of the few politicians that listens to the next generation. It's so important. I feel empowered when I work for Jagmeet. He gives me the tools I need to make a difference, and that matters. The NDP is the way forward. That's why I'm so excited to be here to support and nominate my friend, Jagmeet Singh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Owen. And we need more youth and local community members like you to be able to create a really engaged community and to work together to support everyone. And of course, it is with Jagmeet's leadership that motivates so many of us to join this movement, join this campaign, and make sure we elect a government that works for all of us. So the next speaker we have is an activist from the labor movement. Many of you, I think everybody knows how this pandemic has really highlighted the inequities that already exist in our community, including gender inequity. And we all have heard about the labor dispute that's happening at the Metrotown Hilton in Burnaby. And United here, Local 40, has been a strong leader to make sure that we support women and workers, many hospitality hotel workers who have been negatively impacted. So the next speaker I have is Sergio, who is actually calling in from the strike in front of Metrotown Hilton, who has been supporting this movement and also supporting the Unequal Women campaign. And I just want to welcome Sergio to say a few words too. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Minister Chen. So yes, my name is Sergio. I am a long-term resident of the riding of Burnaby South and worker at the Hilton Metrotown for the past 21 years. This last April, our hotel had fired 97 of my colleagues and locked out the remaining 50+ workers, many of whom are women, people of color, single parents, immigrants, all of whom relied on these good-paying jobs and benefits to help raise their families. Many hotels in the Vancouver area have agreed to extend recall rights because of the pandemic. However, our hotel has not. We've been on the picket line now for 123 days. And on behalf of all of the locked out workers, we'd like to thank Jagmeet Singh, the NDP, for their show of support on numerous occasions at our picket line. He fights for social justice, he's an honest person, and he provides hope for all of us. We certainly appreciate the solidarity, and for that, I wholeheartedly support the nomination of Jagmeet Singh to Burnaby South. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergio, and keep up with the amazing and important fight for all. Thank you. So next speaker we have, I don't think she needs an introduction, because if you're a Burnaby resident, especially in the Burnaby South area, everybody knows her. She's worked hard and volunteered and donated so much of her time on different campaigns. I remember meeting her, probably the first meeting when I joined the NDP. So that's welcome. Noreen Boudreau, who has been a longtime resident, local activist, who is also here to support Jagmeet. Noreen.
Chen, Katrina. I'm really honored and pleased today to nominate Jagmeet Singh as our candidate for Burnaby South. It's been about 3 years since we met Jagmeet when he came and met with all of our board members to say he was coming out to our area. And he went around and spoke to each one of us to learn what issue was important to us. He listened intently, and I'm sure he still remembers all the things that we told him that day. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we scared him off or not. But what I think about Jagmeet, I think about his book, Love and Courage. And I look what he's done over 3 years and the courage that he's taken to take the steps outside of what everybody else is doing, to make those hard statements, to support causes that aren't sometimes popular, sometimes not getting vote, going up and meeting all the First Nations communities, whether it's public or not, really caring for people. And that's why I will strongly support his nomination for this campaign. Thanks, Jagmeet.
Thank you so much, Noreen. And I think you said it so right. Jagmeet is sincere, bold, visionary, and also has so much courage. Sometimes when I see all the unreasonable attacks and discriminative attacks against our brother Jagmeet and our leader, it just breaks my heart, but he always stands strong. He stands professional. He continues to fight. He knows what he's talking about, and he has strong principles, and we just admire you. And thank you so much, Jagmeet, for leading this good fight. So I guess there's no one else running for this nomination, or I'm going to call going once, going twice. No one else is running. Okay. So I hereby declare that Jagmeet Singh is being acclaimed as the NDP candidate in Burnaby South. Yay! Okay, well deserved, Jagmeet. And seriously, there's really no one else better than Jagmeet to lead our party and really to lead our country. I came to Canada as an immigrant alone, and this is the country that we are so honored and so thankful to be able to settle and live here, and along with so many community members, and really thanking the First Nations for welcoming us and to be able to live in this diverse, strong community. But we need to make it better, especially after the pandemic. And we're still going through this pandemic that has impacted just about every single person in our community. People are really worried, and people really need a federal government that is actually going to deliver and to ensure that no one is left behind. And all of us here together is going to make sure that government is going to be led by Jagmeet Singh. He has shown what it means to send more New Democrats to Ottawa, and Jagmeet has fought for and delivered and actually taking concrete steps to make sure Canadians get ahead and build on the strong recovery that includes everyone, not just those at the very top. So now I'm so proud and honored to introduce the bold, kind-hearted, courageous leader, a fighter who is always in your corner, my friend and brother, Jagmeet Singh. I guess someone has to unmute our leader, Jagmeet. I'm so sorry. It happens at least to happen once a day that you forgot to unmute on Zoom. So we're just gonna go again and wait until Jagmeet is unmuted. Thank you.
Yes, there it is. Thank you very much, Katrina. That was really funny because this was the first time ever. It wasn't that I forgot to unmute myself, but someone else also forgot to mute me, which is beautiful irony of how we live in the Zoom world. Katrina, thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you so much for being here today. Minister Chen, thank you for all the hard work you've done and how much a difference you made in people's lives. Really appreciate you. Owen, I think, I don't know, folks, listening to how the way he spoke, I'm looking over the screen here. The way Owen spoke, Owen, I know people have told you this before, but you are incredible. You care so deeply about people, and that powerful voice that you have. I see a bright future in some level of leadership at some point in your life. I know you've been thinking about it, and I think definitely stick with that vision. I hope to see you replace me maybe one day. I don't know. You're going to do great things. So thank you so much, Owen. Noreen, thank you for your kind words. And I do remember the first time we met on that patio and walked around, and I chatted with all the members of the Riding Association and how you all cared so deeply. And Noreen, thanks for everything. You've been, I don't know, just an incredible support for so many people and so many elected folks and so many people in the community. So I really appreciate you. Sergio, you are fighting for workers. You're fighting for women who've been discriminated, racialized people, but you're fighting for all workers in that fight to make sure workers are treated with dignity. Some of the hardest impacted workers in this pandemic have been hospitality, and workers in that sector have been ignored in a lot of ways and are struggling, and we've got to be there for them. So thank you for the fight. Joan, your words are, as Katrina was saying, as Minister Chen was saying, your words are always so powerful, and we learn so much from you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your strength. And thank you for the beautiful things you said today. Really appreciate it. And to all my Burnaby South friends, thank you. It is such a huge honor to represent this riding, to represent the incredible people. I think about that honor all the time, and I'm just so thankful, and I have so much gratitude that I get to represent such a beautiful place and such incredible people. So thank you so much. I want to talk a bit about this pandemic and what it's meant for a lot of people. It's been a really uncertain time. It's been a difficult time. And as people look forward, there's still a lot of uncertainty and worry. I know a lot of young people are worried about their futures. We know that people are worried about the climate crisis. We know people are worried about being able to afford a home. We know people are worried about their health and specific things around that, including the cost of medication. And we know that those worries aren't going away. And over the past 6 years, a lot of these concerns have actually gotten worse. With Justin Trudeau in power, it hasn't gotten easier. For the climate crisis, which we know has been ravaging people across this country, it has ravaged communities, and we are feeling the impact of it right now. We know that people living in the interior of BC are seeing right now the impacts of that climate crisis. They are feeling the impacts of smoky skies, of not being able to breathe the air. They're feeling it right now. And communities like Lytton that were just completely devastated. We know Indigenous communities that are hard hit. We know the climate crisis is real. And despite it being so real and so present in our lives, over the past 6 years, Justin Trudeau is the only leader of a G7 nation who's overseen an increase in emission. He is not fighting against the big polluters. And instead of fighting the climate crisis, he ended up buying a pipeline. He promised clean drinking water for Indigenous people, something that we think is just an obvious, basic human right that you should have access to clean drinking water. And after promising to deliver it, he walked away from that commitment, completely broke his promise, and now is saying in some distant future it'll happen, breaking another commitment to people who deserve respect and dignity. We know that for Justin Trudeau, it's all for show. Like, he'll say one thing and do the exact opposite. He campaigned on bringing in medication coverage for all because it's something Canadians want. He did it for show. He then talked about it in the throne speech. But when we gave him an opportunity to do something about it, when my good friend Peter Julian brought forward a bill to say, okay, let's get it done. Let's bring forward pharmacare for all. That's universal and accessible to all. He voted against it, really kind of showing that it was never really something he meant to do. It was all for show. And now we're up against an election that Justin Trudeau himself promised that he wouldn't call. He committed that he would not call an election in a pandemic, broke again that promise, walked away from that commitment. And he claims that it's to listen to people. Well, he didn't listen to people when they said they want clean drinking water for Indigenous people or they want to tackle the climate crisis. So he hasn't listened to people then. What gives any confidence that he'll listen to people now? And so we look at why he called this election. We know he wants a majority. He wants power. But he certainly doesn't want that power or that majority to help people more. In fact, he wants to help people less. We've seen what he's done. We've seen he is fed up with New Democrats pushing him to give more help to more people. He wants to continue to let the ultra-rich, the super wealthy, have a free ride. He wants to let the biggest polluters continue to be exempt from his price on pollution. He has shown time and time again that he is not willing to stand up for people, and instead he makes decisions that benefit those at the very top, and it hurts everyone else. We've seen that, and it is the wrong choice. So we in this pandemic were there for people. We were so proud as New Democrats, and I want to say this is all of us, everyone that's on this call, everyone that's a New Democrat across the country, here in my home province of BC, but everywhere across Canada, New Democrats believed in this movement. And because of us, we were able to get more help to more people. When people needed help, we were able to double serve to make sure they could pay their bills and put food on the table. We fought to save millions of jobs. We fought to help small businesses that were struggling. We fought and delivered real help to people in their time of need. And we know now, moving forward, people are going to need us more than ever. Like Owen was saying, young people are really worried about the future. And a lot of people are worried about what's going to happen next. Left on his own, Justin Trudeau is going to put the burden on the people that have suffered the most or cut the help that people need. We are the only party saying, why don't we make billionaires pay their fair share and the free ride that they've been enjoying under Liberals and Conservatives, and make sure they start contributing fairly so we can invest in that brighter future. Make sure we tackle the climate crisis by creating good jobs that reduce emissions. Make sure we invest in justice for Indigenous people so that every community in this country has clean drinking water. Make sure we invest in our healthcare so no one has to worry if they've got the right job that has the right benefits to cover their dental care or cover their medication coverage. We want to make sure that everyone in our country has head-to-toe healthcare. These are the things that we can do together. And I know the only way we can achieve this is if we inspire people all across this country to believe that better is possible, that you're not stuck with Liberals and Conservatives. You don't have to accept the way things are, that we can dream big, we can actually imagine a brighter future, and we can attain that for a brighter future by making better choices. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. That better choice would be New Democrats being elected across this country. So not only do we want to re-elect our New Democrats that we have right now, we want to elect more New Democrats, because this pandemic has shown us clearly the more New Democrats we have, the better people are. We know that New Democrats fight for people, put people at the heart of every decision. And we've shown that in the pandemic, and we want to continue to do that in the recovery. So I want to thank you for being a part of this movement. I want to thank you because of all of you, so many Canadians, millions of Canadians have been better off. And we know that we have to continue that work. So thank you. And I'm going to ask you to continue to dig deep and find ways to keep on volunteering in your local campaigns. Definitely, if you live in Burnaby South, volunteer in my campaign if you can. But volunteer everywhere you can. Get involved, help out. And I'm also going to ask you to dig deep. And normally I would say to donate to the cause. But today I want to do something a little bit different. Normally I'd ask you to donate to help us elect more New Democrats, donate to our campaign. But given how serious things are in BC with the forest fires, given how many Indigenous communities and communities in general are so impacted by these forest fires, I want to ask you all to make a donation today, instead of to the campaign or to the New Democrats, but I want you to make a donation if you can, any amount that you can, to help people that have been impacted by the BC forest fires. These are some of our frontline workers, the folks that are fighting these fires. These are communities that have been impacted. If you can donate whatever you can today to support those communities in need, it would mean the world to me. And I want to thank you again for being here today, and thank you for any contribution you're able to make. So I want to wrap it up. I've been a little bit longer than I expected, but I just want to say, really, truly, it has been one of the greatest honors of my life representing Burnaby South. I think about what a great honor it is to have been chosen to represent this community, and I'm so thankful for it. Krukita and I are so grateful for all the kind words. Thank you, Joan, for your kind words today, and everyone else for wishing us on our new adventure that we will do alongside fighting for people, bringing up a new human being, a new cute baby, hopefully, that we wherever the baby is, it's going to be amazing. We love babies. We're so excited. And so we are looking forward to that new adventure. And I want to thank you for all your well wishes. I want to thank you for everything that you're doing in this campaign, for all your hard work, all the volunteers, and thank you for being here today. Really, really great honor. And thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate all of you. Merci beaucoup. Back to you, Katrina.
Thank you so much, Jagmeet, and congratulations on a new baby. Thank you for bringing another Burnabarian to our community. As a proud Burnabarian myself, we're just so excited about the baby. And actually, in my heritage, in my culture, having a baby is a very, very auspicious and a very lucky thing to have. So hopefully we're going to have a great camping trail. Good luck, Butter. And I just want to thank Jagmeet again. I think when you said, you know, people can hope for better. We deserve better. Better is possible. That is so key in all the work that you're doing, Jagmeet is doing, to lead on reconciliation, on climate change, on affordability, on healthcare. We can do better as Canadians together. And also really want to thank Jagmeet and the NDP for raising awareness on the importance of fighting this wildfire together. So everyone will see the link in the chat, and please, we all encourage everyone to support and donate and really supporting this effort together. So the last speaker we have to wrap up this event also doesn't need an introduction here from Burnaby. He has been the MP since 2004. He was first elected, and I love to say his old riding name because he was the MP for Burnaby, New Westminster. Somehow they changed it to New Westminster, Burnaby at the end, but I still prefer Burnaby first because at the end of the day, this is a nomination meeting for Burnaby South. So Burnaby first and Burnabarian first. But he has been the MP since 2004, has been working so hard for our community for the past 17 years. And without further ado, I just want to introduce our local MP, MP Peter Julian, to say a few words. Thank you, Peter.
Oh, thanks so much, Katrina. And thank you for all the work that you do in the community. And I would like to start off, of course, by acknowledging in deep appreciation that I'm speaking to you from the traditional unceded territory of the Kakite First Nation and the Coast Salish peoples. And I am just thrilled to be participating with my brother, Jagmeet Singh, at this nomination meeting tonight. Excuse me. I know from working in the community with Jagmeet the connections that he's established across the length and breadth of Burnaby South. Very, very similar to the kind of work he's been doing across the country. But across Burnaby South, he has been tireless in going out and really meeting with the community, responding to needs, and has been an exceptional member of Parliament for Burnaby South. I am so proud to be part of the Burnaby team and to work side by side with him representing New Westminster Burnaby. Owen mentioned the issue of connections and how Jagmeet is able to establish connections with people throughout the community. Above all, with younger Canadians who have been left aside often by the political process. And when we see in the polling how the strength of the NDP is really being propelled by first-time voters, youth voters who are saying enough is enough, we really need to build back better. And when we look at the polls showing often the NDP leading among all Canadians under the age of 35, we see how effective that communication, that connection is with young voters and, of course, voters throughout the community and across Canada. So I'm very hopeful as we come through this crisis of COVID that, as Jagmeet said so eloquently, we'll be able to build back better by working with people right across the length and breadth of this country. And I am quite optimistic that we are going to see in this election perhaps very much a watershed election. And what that means is potentially having so many more New Democrats making a difference in the House of Commons. We have an extraordinary group of candidates as well across the country. One of the elements of how Jagmeet is so effective in establishing those connections is his understanding that leadership means providing supports to those who need it most. And we have seen through the course of this summer devastating wildfires that have destroyed and threatened so many communities. We have just to think of Lytton that was basically obliterated in the matter of a few minutes. And the residents of that community were left with absolutely nothing. We have dozens of communities across British Columbia that are now threatened by wildfires. And in many cases, they are under evacuation alerts or evacuation orders. And what that means is we may well be seeing other British Columbians that will lose everything in the space of minutes over the course of the next few days. And that's why the pitch tonight is so important. Jagmeet understands that we really need to all provide the supports that the firefighters are asking for And this Thursday, August 19th, of course, there will be a major pitch for fundraising to provide supports to those communities and to provide supports to counter the impacts of the wildfires. So in providing his leadership, he's suggesting to all of us, and I know there are hundreds of people at this nomination meeting participating virtually, please give generously. The link is in the chat. Please make a difference. We know that communities are threatened. We know that the firefighters need our support. And if you're not able to give tonight, think of Thursday when the firefighters will be requesting donations so that we can provide all the supports to the victims of the wildfires and also provide supports to our firefighters right across the province of British Columbia. Thanks to all of you for participating tonight. And I'm very excited about the next few weeks and what it means potentially for the future of Canada. I would love to see Jagmeet Singh as our next Prime Minister.
Thank you so much, Peter. And really, thank you all for joining our nomination meeting today. And, you know, just before we say goodbye, I just want to really encourage everyone to continue to support Jagmeet and all the NDP candidates across the country. And I just saw someone posting something about how Jagmeet is a leader who inspires change with love and courage. And I think that just sums it up so well. He is a leader who really lead with love and courage and being able to motivate everyone around him, everyone across this country to be able to do things together, to build a better country together, and also to make sure we support everyone in our community. So thank you all for joining today's nomination meeting, and please support Jagmeet and the NDP. Have a good night.